And welcome to the Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thank you for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we can help you. If you have questions or comments about anything that's going on in the news today, i.e. COVID and coronavirus, love to hear from you. Love to hear how you're dealing with it, what you think of all the stuff that's going on. 844-236-6010. And, of course, if you just want to share a success story or a testimonial, we love hearing from you. 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. Even better, if you would like to sign up to join the Bright Side Ben team, click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can also call 866-735-2470 for more information. 866-735-2470 for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself. You can earn thank you checks associated with helping change the world at the most fundamental level there is, which is the level of good health. And I'm not exaggerating when I say change the world. You can change an individual's world, and when we change enough individuals, we will change the world. We are sick, people. The country's sick. We are physically ill as not just the country, all over the world. We are sick, sick, sick. We are leaving so much good health on the table. We are leaving so much quality of life on the table. Longevity is about giving people back their quality of life. And I'm not just saying this just to talk. I've been seeing it for 22 years. I've been seeing it for 22 years how longevity has helped change people's lives qualitatively. And when we change the individual's life, we will change the world. And that is what this is all about. And you can make some money at the same time and become financially independent too. What the heck is wrong with any of that? Why would anybody say no? Call 866-735-2470 for more info, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And also would like to remind you to check out our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. We've got specials running as we speak. And if you want to see what people are saying about Truth Treatments, which have been out now for about 3 years, a little over 3 years, go to truthreviewed.com, truthreviewed.com, and you'll see over 500 five-star reviews. Some of them are pretty darn amazing. Truthreviewed.com for all our reviews for all our skin health products. Go to truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. All right, Richard Stocks hopefully will be on at the bottom of the hour. Having a little bit of hard time getting Rich on, but hopefully he'll be on at the bottom of the hour. I've known Richard for since I started, not exactly when I started with longevity, but about a year after I started with longevity, I met Rich. That's 21 years ago. Rich is a distributor, and he has a really interesting story to tell. He was broke twice. First, he was broke. When I met him, he was broke, and then he became, he became very financially independent, we'll say. And then he lost his longevity business for something happened, or he quit, or something happened, and went down to zero, and then he started again, and he built himself back up again. And I love inspiring stories. When I hear people who have been down in the dumps, and then they brought themselves up somehow, to me, that's inspiring. Those are messages we need to hear. What do we hear on the news? What do we hear in the culture? What does the society always tell us? It's always telling us to be scared. It's always telling us what's wrong. And this is partially due to the fact that people make money when other people are scared. And inducing fear, making people feel fearful, is a great way to make money. They have to buy things to protect themselves. They have to somehow participate or they're more likely to participate with whatever it is you're providing to keep them from being scared. So being scared there's a business side to it, but it's also normal to be scared. And just like it's normal for us to be scared, our opinion leaders, our governments, the media, they're going to be scared too, and they're going to promote fear because we live in a world where our brain is always scanning for what's wrong. We're always looking for what can be fixed, for what's missing, what's wrong. If we could just learn to start scanning for what's right, we will change our lives. And indeed, there's a heck of a lot more right than there is wrong. It's a lot easier to find what's right than there is to find what's wrong. But the fact that we're predisposed, we are unconsciously guided, we are evolutionarily driven to see what's wrong. Our ancestors were the ones who survived. We're the descendants of ancestors who survived by looking for what's wrong. Looking for what's wrong is for survival. We have, for the most part, met our survival needs. Now it's a question of thrival. How are we going to thrive? Well, if you're going to thrive, you've got to see what's right, because when you see what's right, you upregulate your biochemistry of thrival. You upregulate your dopamine, your serotonin, your oxytocin. You become better equipped to thrive. And that's, if we're interested in thriving, because it's a lot more fun to thrive than it is to survive. If we're really interested in thriving, simply because it's a lot more pleasurable and it's a lot more enjoyable, we've got to learn to start scanning for what's right and not paying attention to people who want us to look at what's wrong. I have been, I watch the news. I don't suggest anybody watches the news unless you're going to watch it like a scientist, which I watch it like a scientist. And by the way, I have a degree in journalism as well as a degree in pharmacy. So I'm watching it like a scientist and I'm watching it like a journalist. And I do watch it. I want to see what the narrative is. What are they trying to tell us? What are they trying to promote? The media is about crafting a narrative, telling a story, a meta story, not a little story, but a big story. The little story is the coronavirus. The big story is be scared. The meta story is be scared. That's what they're telling you. What's this thing about infections all of a sudden the last couple of weeks? Oh my God, infections. First of all, the horrible word infections. They know good and well what that word means. When we hear the word infection, we subconsciously cringe when we hear the word infection. What do you think happens when you hear the word infection 1,000 times a day? You cringe 1,000 times a day. And every time you cringe, you get a jolt of cortisol. And every time you cringe, you get a little muscular contraction. That's permanent. A micro contraction. Why do you think people are so freaked out now? It's because they've got all this cortisol and all these micro contractions. And then they got you wearing the mask. What's the mask about? Oh, it's to save you from the virus. Oh, save it. Some people they're nice people, so they say, no, I'm worried about me. I'm worried about you. I'm protecting you. Baloney. You want to protect if you want to protect people against a virus, stop eating McDonald's. Stop putting them on drugs. How many of the people who are infected or who are symptomatic are on drugs? First of all, infections are irrelevant. Irrelevant. It is absolutely asinine to go get tested. And to stand in line is double asinine. What do you think, if we really cared about taking care of people, we wouldn't be putting them on drugs. How many of those people who are symptomatic are on drugs? How many of those people symptomatic are on ACE inhibitors or statin drugs or cardiovascular drugs or beta blockers or immune suppressants? How many of them are zinc deficient? You see where I'm going with this. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back on The Bright Side right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number, and we don't have any calls, but if you get on, if you've got anything you want to say or if you got any questions, you'll get first up at 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, and we will be speaking to Rich Stocks about his success, the story of his success at the bottom of the hour. So we'll get your calls this segment. Rich has been doing longevity for 21 years and had two separate businesses and had been broke twice and built himself back up to where he's financially independent. And helping people understand nutrition is the world of nutrition, and specifically longevity nutrition, is all he does. And he's got some really interesting marketing strategies too for you guys who are doing longevity. If you're interested in growing your business, Rich has some interesting marketing strategies. I don't really talk about I talk a little bit about it. I mean, I mention it on all the programs, but I don't really dive deep into longevity as a business. But it's really a very cool business. It's a business where we teach people how to do business. We don't just teach you about nutrition. We teach you how to do business. And it's really cool. And, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're in the business world, there's that there's certain skills that will allow you to be good at what you do. We teach those skills. and Rich especially teaches those skills. I don't personally teach those skills. I'm more the nutrition guy, but Rich and a few other folks are specialists in how to do business and how to grow businesses. Anyway, he's got a really inspiring story. Hope to get him on at the bottom of the hour. Hopefully he said he'd be on, but can't seem to get a hold of him. I hope he gets on. Any case, 844-236-6010 is our number, and we'll get your calls here if we have them. I wanted to, so much I want to say here. I've been trying to avoid talking a lot about the politics of this COVID thing because I don't want to be political, but it's just so important. And now the politics it's affecting people's health. People are so bought into this the medical way of looking at the world. Even people who are somewhat alternatively minded still look at the body medically. They still don't have a problem thinking that there's something that doctors know. That's why we're always surprised when doctors do stupid things. We say, "Oh my God, he's a doctor. How could he think it's okay to yank out that person's gallbladder, or to put him on a drug that'll poison their heart, or to ablate the heart with electricity, to burn the heart with electricity?" We say, "How can they do that?" It's because we just give them too much credit. I'm not saying that in a bad way, because there's a need for some kind of health person who understands the body symptomatically. But that's all. They understand it symptomatically. And that's the most important thing to understand. Clinical chemistry. Clinical chemistry is not biochemistry. Let me say that again, because that is so fundamental and it's so underappreciated and unacknowledged. Clinical chemistry is not biochemistry. We are not clinical beings. We do not exist for the clinic or in the clinic. We exist in life. We are biological beings. Clinical chemistry is the chemistry of the doctor. It's the chemistry of testing. And it doesn't work as a whole to heal the body. It works to control symptoms, and that's what they're supposed to do. And so we can't be mad at them for doing that. That's what they're supposed to do. We have to understand that when they speak, they're speaking symptomatically. They're speaking about symptoms. They're speaking about the clinical side of things because that's all they see. They don't see the biochemistry. Now, that's not to say that some doctors don't understand biochemistry. Some do. But not necessarily. Not necessarily. I got an email, Facebook today, and I actually got a couple days ago, from Alicia. I don't know if Alicia's listening. Alicia says, "Hi, Dr. Ben. What are your thoughts on 8?" And by the way, I love, thank you for saying I'm a doctor. I know you mean that in a complimentary way, but I'm not a doctor, I'm a pharmacist. So for those of you guys calling me Dr. Ben. What are your thoughts on ADHD and medicating a child? And she goes on to say she's got a 12-year-old and he's suffering from self-esteem issues, and she understandably is concerned, and she wants to know about medicating. So she asked me about medicating. So this is what I answered. And I don't know, I'll probably get some heat for it because I didn't pull any punches. Medication is poisoning. I wrote, the medication of anyone is poisoning them. While you can debate whether using poison to improve symptoms is valuable, and it never improves health, medication does not improve health. Even antibiotics, which obviously are necessary for infections, do not improve overall health. Do you know that? Antibiotics do not improve overall health. Antibiotics make us sicker in the long run. Whether or not they're necessary, I'm not saying that, obviously, if you have an infection, you take an antibiotic. I'm not saying not to take an antibiotic, but I'm telling you, overall, it doesn't improve the health of the body, and get this, overall, it doesn't improve the health of the world. It doesn't improve the health of the environment. And in many ways, our chronic exposure to antibiotics is killing the most powerful immune entity in the body. And I say entity advisedly. Entity meaning living thing. The most powerful immune entity in the body is the microbiome, which we've only known about really for 25 or 30 years, really. I mean, we know a little bit about it, but really to get to know it, we're still learning new stuff every day. So it's only been the last 25 or 30 years. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to digress. That's an important subject. But what I said to Alicia was, it's not okay to medicate a child chronically. It's not okay. They're growing. They're developing. Do you need to? Sometimes. I'm not going to debate that. Sometimes you do. But what is not debatable is that medication is poison. That's not debatable. Medication is poison. You can debate whether or not the poison can help you sometimes. You might need it. If you have an emergency, if you're in chronic pain, that you can debate. And I'm not going to tell you that I would not take an antibiotic or a pain pill. I would. But what's not debatable is my body has to process it like a poison. What's not debatable is an antibiotic is going to kill off one of the most powerful entity in my body, especially for the immune system, which is the microbiome. And in the long run, it's going to ruin the environment. So for ADHD, B vitamins. Sugar depletes the body of B vitamins. Processed food depletes the body of B vitamins. The B vitamins are your focus vitamins. Essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acid deficiency is extremely common, especially in children. The essential fatty acids are critical for electrical conductivity in the brain. And make sure the kid is not eating a lot of crappy food. Low sugar. Minimize the sugar. Bread is sugar. Cereal is sugar. Minimize it. Don't put sugar on top of the cereal. Sugar on top of the sugar. And then attention deficit disorder can be sometimes about lack of attention that the kid is getting as much as he has, as much as he possesses. A lot of high-functioning children of parents who are living their lives, who are high-functioning themselves, and who are living their lives, have ADHD. ADHD is a sign of high functioning. It's curiosity. It's intelligence. When you don't have attention, when you don't care about anything in your child, that's a problem. Children touch things. They look at things. They don't have attention. Everything's exciting to them. That's just part of being a child. What you want to do is you want to direct that attention. You want to learn to have the child find something he loves so that attention can be focused. Dancing, athletics, martial arts, meditation, spirituality, self-improvement, service to others. These are all valuable ways that you can channel attention in a child. Entrepreneurship. You can use something he loves to do as a way to focus, get him to focus his attention rather than trying to touch everything. Find something he's passionate about. Same thing about adults, and adults get attention deficit disorder too. Find something you're passionate about. People who are passionate about something don't have attention deficit disorder. Adults and children. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben 844. We got Rich Stocks coming up next segment. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll return after this. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and thanks for being here. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com, also benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that one up. It has a search engine. You get all the longevity products on our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, vegetable oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want. In any of our Truth Skin Health products, you're all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for wound healing. And as it turns out, wound healing is beauty. When you heal a wound, you beautify the skin. Truth treatments are all repurposed prescription products, originally formulated for wound healing, now being sold for you to keep your skin healthy and beautiful. TruthTreatments.com, TruthTreatments.com. I am very excited to have our guest on. Richard Stocks is a good friend of mine. I've known him for 21 years. We traveled around and doing talks and just growing our longevity businesses and growing the longevity business back when longevity started. And Rich has such a fascinating story to tell. I find him personally very inspiring. And as you know, I want The Bright Side to be an inspiring show. Please welcome to The Bright Side, Richard Stocks. What's up, Rich?
Hi, Ben.
Good to talk to you.
Here.
I've been trying to get you on for a long time. I love your story. Why don't you tell, from an inspiring perspective, which your story is very inspiring, tell folks how you got involved with longevity and a little bit about the challenges you faced and how you dealt with them. How you dealt with them several times to grow a really nice, healthy business to the point where you're financially independent.
Well, Ben, I've always been kind of business-minded and very health-conscious. And so when I was 19, I found a little ad in the newspaper. I was my first year in college, and I don't know what it said, probably something about make big money fast without doing much, something like that, that would appeal to a 19-year-old. And so I went to a little meeting in a hotel room, and it was just a guy and his wife, and they were doing these little interviews. And so the first thing they asked me, have you ever heard of Amway? Well, I hadn't. And to be honest, when they said Amway, I'm thinking Amtrak, I'm thinking trains, and I wasn't interested in that. So then they started doing the little flip chart presentation, and they got to the circles. And, of course, anybody who's been involved with these types of businesses knows what I mean by the circles. People invite you over. You think you're going for dinner, and you end up having circles for dinner. And so, but when he got to the circles, I was just fascinated. At that point, I didn't care what the name of the company. I didn't care what the product. I just thought, I truly thought that only a handful of people in the world knew about this. I thought, well, this guy and his wife and me and whoever came up with this idea were the only 4 people in the world, because nobody could see this and not want to jump in. Well, we know it doesn't work that way. But so anyway, I got involved and something went wrong, and the FDA took the product off the market, and I kept trying these things. I tried the no-run pantyhose, and when they started getting runners, that was a bummer. And you name it, I tried it, and finally I just said these famous words that none of your listeners have ever said. I said, never again. I'll never do this again. And so for 10 years, I stuck with that, and people would call me, when you haven't heard from a friend or relative in 10 years, they call out of the blue, Rich, how's it going? Something's up. They either want to sell you something or sign you up in the latest, greatest network marketing deal. So for 10 years, I held fast to that commitment that I made. And then one day, someone called and said, it's a pretty good friend of mine, and said, hey, we heard this cassette tape, and we think you ought to hear it. And they said, there's this veterinarian, and he became a physician, and he's saying that, they've cured all these diseases in animals, and that they can help people use, doing the same formulas, the same principles and all this. I said, yeah, even though I'm a health-conscious person, it just sounded so boring to me. I'm not going to listen to some doctor talk about anything. I didn't even go to doctors. There was a 20-year period when I didn't even go, not once. So anyway, Ben, I said, no, that's okay. Oddly enough, these people weren't involved in any kind of business. They didn't even know what the products were. And to this day, I look back and think, why did they call me? They didn't know I'd been, and they hadn't heard this story that I'm telling you. Well, a couple of days later, someone else called. They were from another state. And there's someone I knew fairly well, and they said, Rich, we just thought of you. We heard this cassette tape. Veterinarian, physician, I thought, that's the same thing. Well, I declined again. A couple of days later, at this time, I was pastoring a church, and we had a little downtown storefront, and one of the ladies in my church had a real estate business, and their office was right behind ours, and she would let me use her copy machine. And so I was over there making copies, and a guy walked through the door. I'd never met him, but I knew, everybody in town knew him, very wealthy guy, very happy guy, extremely wealthy. And he walked in, and he says to this lady, she'd been having some health challenges, he said, hey, I found some new vitamins. She said, tell me about it. He said, well, I heard this cassette tape. Veterinarian, physician. I thought, all of a sudden, then I started hearing, the Twilight Zone music, and I thought, I've got to find out about this. Somebody's trying to tell me something. I didn't say anything at that moment. I didn't meet that guy till years later. Oddly enough, years later, I signed him up in Longevity, and we went around the country doing meetings together. He had heard the cassette, but there were 50 different companies mailing out Dr. Wallet's cassettes. So anyway, Dan, I got involved, and the part you're wanting to hear, tell the people about how broke I was, and to be very honest,
when I first met you, I'll never forget what you told me. That you didn't have a pot. Well, pot to what. And I remember thinking that it was just so amazing to me how you grew it after that. So yeah, I find it personally inspiring. I want you to share that with other folks.
Well, Ben, I felt like a mama duck when she saw all of her little baby ducks. Nothing but bills, bills, bills. I mean, that was my life. And so, to be very honest, one of the reasons I was so broke was because of those network marketing ventures that I did. You get in. And I didn't even have a credit card. And I remember listening to a cassette tape that said how to finance your network marketing, multi-level marketing, they called it back then, how to finance your multi-level marketing business. So I listened. And this guy's theory was you go out and get as many credit cards you had. I never had one. My parents, my mother today is 91 years old. My father's passed on. My mother's 91. Neither of them had ever had a credit card. I didn't know what a credit card was, but I took the guy's advice, and that was the beginning of my downfall. And so you see why I hated these types of things so bad. But here's the catch, Ben. When after 3 people within a space of 1 week talking about this cassette tape, none of them were in the business. None of them knew about that Dr. Wallach had started his own company. None of them were taking any products associated with Dr. Wallach. They had just heard a cassette tape, thought it was fascinating, and oddly, two of those people just out of the blue thought of me. And so I went back to that first person. I said, hey, I'll listen to that cassette. 5 minutes into it, I decided whatever this guy's selling, I'm buying. That's how convincing Dr. Wallach was to me, is I knew that he knew what he was talking about, and I knew that he believed what he was talking about, and I knew that I needed it.
All right, hang on, Rich, because I want you to I want you to talk about the specifics of how you grew the business and a few tips that you can help people who are doing the business or thinking about doing the business. Also want to talk to you a little about COVID, too. We got Rich Stocks on. I am Pharmacist Ben. We'll return on the bright side right after this. We are back in the bright side. We're talking to my friend and longevity bigwig, Rich Stocks, or distributor at least, big distributor, we'll say, Rich. So you built your business up using certain skills. You told me a couple of the things that you were doing when we talked last week. Why don't you give people who are distributors now or who are thinking about distributing things that you can do to, once you have a business, to grow the business?
Well, Ben, I'm going to do one better than that. I'm going to give them 5 master keys of success that no matter what they're doing, anything in life, it doesn't matter if they're a musician, if they're an athlete, a business person, this will work in your marriage, your family, anything. So during the break, this is what I really feel prompted to share. And this is the reason, I told you I failed literally at dozens and dozens of attempts to be successful in business. And then one day I asked myself, why was I successful this time? And these 5 things just kind of came to me just almost immediately. My hand couldn't hardly write them fast enough. This is why I'm successful, and this is how anybody can be successful. It all starts with strong desire, and I call that passion. So if people, can take notes or record this, these are the 5 master keys to success in anything. Strong desire, which is passion. When I heard Dr. Wallach's message, I had this strong desire to find out more. I had a strong desire to find out what the products were. And even though I found out about the business after the fact, I was already so hooked and so convinced and had such a desire to share this message with people, I would have done it for free. I didn't know there was a business, and I was already handing out the cassette tape. So that's the first master key to success. That's right out of the Bible. So many people miss it. Is that
how is it at? Where is it in the Bible?
Well,
Tell me about that.
Jesus, just simple things like whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe you receive them, you shall have them.
Yeah.
So a lot of people would just pray, but if you ask them next week, well, what did you pray for last week? They don't remember. Well, that's not a strong desire.
That's
passion doesn't go away. That's the thought that just came to me.
Great.
Now, true passion does not just disappear when the next thing comes along. Oh, baby, I love you. I'm passionate about you. Next week, they're dating somebody else.
Okay. That's really awesome.
It was a different kind of passion.
Yeah.
But, anyway,
but passion doesn't go away. True passion doesn't go away, no matter what.
It doesn't go away easily, Ben. Well, I can't say that it never. I mean, you can let the flame flicker out on anything and lose your desire.
Yeah.
You got to feed it, and you fan the flame, just like if you were building a campfire. So there are things there that you do, but the point being, you can't just hear an opportunity and just I'm going to make a lot of money. There's got to be something stronger than that. It starts with strong desire.
Yeah.
To me,
how does that relate?
That is the base of all
how does that relate to being healthy, you think?
Well, it's the same way. A lot of
same
people,
way, right?
They wish they were healthier. They wish they weighed less.
Yeah.
They wish they looked like a supermodel. But the desire is not strong enough.
Right.
They're not passionate about it. And listen, that's the starting place. These are 5 master keys. There's not one master key, but I would have to say it has to start with desire. You take these athletes. You look at anyone who's highly successful in anything. They were passionate about that thing. All right.
That's great.
Well, but that's not enough. If desire was enough, there'd be a lot more wealthy people in the world.
Right.
But then you move on to master key number 2, and that is unwavering belief. Unwavering belief. You know, and I'm talking about, when I say belief, I'm going to call it faith, and faith is a different kind of belief. You know, I can show you something and physically, and you can see it with, you know, all your senses detect it. I said, Ben, do you believe it? Well, of course you do. You know, all 5 of your senses. You can see it, smell it, taste it, touch it, feel it. Of course you believe it. But there's a different kind of belief that, again, right out of the Bible, and it's called faith. Faith is a belief based on something you can't see.
Oh, faith evidence of things not seen. Evidence of things not seen.
That's correct. Faith is a belief when there's no sensory evidence. None of your 5 physical senses. There's nothing to confirm it. And just, you know, it's just like all the people. Well, I haven't seen God, haven't touched him, all of that. Well, you know, okay. The Bible says that the heavens declare his handiwork. We can look around and say, well, where did all this stuff come from? But anyway, it's the same in business. I had that strong desire, but then I also, for the first time ever, I tried to believe in the no-run pantyhose. I mean, I tried to get passionate about them, and I couldn't. I tried to believe in them. You know, I talked it. I would tell people, all these things are great. But, you know, people feel what we say more than they hear what we say. And you could be saying, these no-run pantyhose are fantastic. And inside you're thinking, I bet they hate these. I know they're not going to sign up with me today. So, and people feel that. And the reason that I have been so successful in this business, when I couldn't do it before, when I speak, people feel my belief. Now, that doesn't mean they're all going to join. That doesn't mean they're all going to buy your products. And to be very honest, I don't care. And I don't want to say that mean. Listen, if what we have is as good as what we say, I do not believe in arm twisting. You've 24 years of being longevity. I've never tried to talk one person into buying one product. I've never tried to talk anybody into joining my business. If they knew what I had, then they would be beating our doors down to get these products and many of them to do the business. I had an unwavering belief, and people feel that. All right? That's master key number 2. Well, it takes more than that. It takes more than desire and belief. Number 3, long-term commitment. If you want to be successful at anything, relationship, sports, music, business, anything, it takes a long-term commitment.
You have to be in it for the long term, for the long haul.
If you want to be healthy, it takes a long-term commitment. But I especially liken it to people losing weight. Now, listen, sometimes we can do a jump start. There are things out there, I don't know, diets and different programs that maybe can jumpstart you. But for you to be successful, if you want to be slim and trim for the long term, now I've lost thousands of pounds in my life. The problem, I always found it again, you know? And so
I've seen it.
Finally, I'm on a plan that I feel like I can do the rest of my life. And it's slow. And that's where some people, Ben, they give up. Maybe they had the desire and they thought they believe. If your desire is strong enough and your belief strong enough, you will make a long-term commitment and you won't waver. You'll stick with that. You know, I can honestly say in 24 years, and some people find this hard to believe, not one day have I ever been discouraged about this longevity business. Not one day in 24 years. Now, I can't say I've never been discouraged in my life about anything. To be honest, I can't think of very many. Nothing comes to mind, but I'm sure that I have. But I've never been discouraged regarding my longevity. I've been upset. I've been mad at people. I've been frustrated. Things didn't always go my way. But because of that desire, that belief, and that long-term commitment, I call that loyalty, by the way. A long-term commitment, I call it loyalty. You need to find the right opportunity for you, and then you make a long-term. How long is long? Well, Dr. Wallach says you're supposed to live to be 120. The Bible says that. So, you know, if you're 20, make a 100-year commitment. So whatever it is, you know, that you find that you're passionate about. Master key number 4. It'd be nice if it just took desire, belief, and commitment, but it takes something else. You got to go that next step. I call that immediate action, and that is your work ethic. Your work ethic. You find anyone, Ben, highly successful. Look at Dr. Wallach. My goodness. When I met the man, I thought, how can I not get involved? Anyone of his age who was doing hundreds of seminars, you know, on the phone, day and night, traveling all over the world. You know,
Do you think Doc meets these? How well do you think he meets these 4 criteria? I don't know what the 5th is, but how well do you think he meets these 4 criteria?
Oh, well, I think the answer is obvious. I mean,
Yeah, right.
You know, the guy's wealthy as he can be, and he shops at Goodwill. You know, maybe I shouldn't tell that, but hey, but you know, I mean, he is a penny pincher. And I've heard him say before, somebody said, why don't you get you a private jet? And he said, well, first of all, I don't like them. He said, I could buy a whole fleet of them if I wanted. You know?
Yeah, right.
I mean, so a guy's extremely wealthy, and I used to think, why is he working so hard?
Yeah.
The passion's driving him. The belief is driving him.
Yeah.
The commitment's driving him.
Yeah.
And then that work ethic to support all of those, and you can't help be successful. And then
We got a minute. I want to hear number 5, Richard.
Master key number 5, the icing on the cake, daily consistency, and I call that focus. Ben, here's
great.
something that your people can take with them the rest of their life, and it's original. Zig Ziglar didn't say this.
I'm stealing it. I'm stealing it myself.
It's not the big things you do every once in a while. It's the little things you do every day that make you successful.
I love it. Hey,
And
Rich,
that's
I love this.
on the opposite of success, too. It's not the big things you do, it's the little things you do or don't do that can keep you from being successful.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Stocks. I'm going to talk to you later, buddy. Thank you. That was really inspiring. All right, that was Rich Stocks. I knew it would be inspiring, and it certainly was. That's awesome. All right, thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.